fireside chat, or rather I would say a very colorful fireside chat on the topic Woman, Your Time is Now. Friends, Fire chat is the BCA style of having a panel discussion. So we are going to have a lot of chat. I'm underlining we're going to have a lot of chat with these five lovely ladies on the is their belief, the fire is in their intentions, the fire is in their actions, so that we have these women from professionals from diverse fields. I'm sure both Divya and Preeti are part of BCA family and they know what BCA is. But for the benefit of the remaining panelists, I would just like to introduce the Bombay Chartered Accountant Society to you all. The Bombay Chartered Accountant Society is a public charitable trust and it was formed in the year 1949 and it is 70 years old today. Uh, the Institute of Chartered Accountants of India is the regulatory body who regulates our profession. But in 1949, our founders thought that there was a requirement to have an independent body who would act voluntarily and actually be an independent body because there were some restrictions that the institute would have, and as such, this institute would not have any restrictions. So therefore, this particular body was formed. Over the past 70 years, we are now more than about 9,000 members and we have 33,000 social media followers, and we clock about more than 2.5 lakh hours of training annually, man hours training annually. So friends, our constitution allows only chartered accountants to be members. So I just urge all of you all who are chartered accountants here but are not members to become member of the Bombay Chartered Accountant Society. And for others, I would request all of you all to follow us on the BCAS Global handle on all the four predominant social media platforms, that is the LinkedIn, Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. And friends, I would just, it's heartening to know that our YouTube channel is really happening. We have more than 12,000 followers on YouTube channel. Just and there we have more than 300 videos online where it's available free of cost for any of you all to visit and download and see the videos free of cost at your convenience. Like for example, this particular panel discussion also is live on our YouTube channel. As I told you, our name is the Bombay Chartered Accountant Society, but our area of influence is not only restricted to the city of Bombay, and we would like to serve members as far as chartered accountants are concerned, and even non-members are there. Over the years, we have built a huge library of digital assets, and our YouTube channel is very happening and popular, and all our meetings are shown live. BCA also has had a strong legacy of ethical values, being conservative and focuses on quality. Today's leadership at the BCA believes that the emphasis should be on increasing the reach of the Bombay Chartered Accountant Society and its area of influence, and to reach out to greater number of people, be it members or non-members, which in turn we believe will help in growth in our membership, both quality-wise and more importantly, quality and quantity-wise. Knowledge was once prized and not readily available, but now it is freely available at a click of a button. BCA therefore has reinvented itself to ensure that knowledge is made available to its members more easily, seamlessly, conveniently, and in a manner preferred by the users. BCA has taken recent steps to increase its reach. The recent steps that we have taken is that we have tried to have our lecture meetings in suburbs. Otherwise, this is our infrastructure which is available, but we've also moved beyond the city of Bombay in the suburbs to have these meetings. We have also tied up with many professional and non-professional bodies, for example, with Chamber of Commerce's, the Rotary clubs, etc., and we have joint programs with them. We also have, we are ready to move to other cities also. So for all our online viewers who are watching us from outside Bombay, if they want to have some programs in their cities, we are available for you all. So just contact us and we will get our expertise, we'll get our speakers and come to your city for these programs. We have also strengthened our digital content, as I told you, and technology plays an important role. And we have concept like cosplay. For example, this is our lecture meeting, but our educational programs also we show live on cosplay, and also major events, our major residential courses and important programs. We have a pen drive of all the recording of all the debates, of all the lectures, and the study material which we make available to our members. We've moved away from the traditional platforms of trainings and more technological advances platforms to disseminate knowledge. We also do a lot of industry focused programs, like our programs on NBFC real estate are very, very popular, and a lot of participants we get from which are majority from our non-members and our members from the industry. For the benefit of the ladies here, our Bombay Chartered Accountants Society journal is very, very popular. That is also 51 years old, and since more than 51 years, it is, being published month on month, and it has more than about 12,000 viewers. Uh, all issues prior to March 2017 have become, it's available live free of cost at our website. We also have designed a program of BCA at your doorstep, which is a corporate training, which is a tailor-made corporate training. Like recently, we took a training of the top credit officers of particular bank, where we, took them through how to read an Ind AS balance sheet that is, equivalent to IFRS. So that's a different new accounting standards which have come. So how to go through that balance sheet, what is the differences in the qualifications, and how to read an audit report, how to read in between lines. So that would help them in their credit process. One more heartening factor also has been that this year we've got a lot of publicity as far as press is concerned for the work that we do, because specifically in the field of our efforts towards making numerous representation and our advocacy impact, to ensure that the voice and the troubles of the taxpayers, our members, and the general public are heard by the government. This alone can help BCA achieve its vision of being a catalyst of bringing about better governance in government policies and law, and which ensures a clean and effective administration. Uh, in BCA, we do not do only different things, but we also do a lot of things differently, like this particular women's panel discussion to celebrate the Women's Day, which was on 8th March, which just went round the corner. And at this particular occasion, I would like to acknowledge, the idea of this particular event was given by Preeti Cherian, and then she and Rimple both, have taken this event forward right from inception till today, where we have reached. Um, Friends, today's event is a unique opportunity to get insights and to hear the experts on how to strategize and chalk out plan into dealing with challenges situations both at home and at workplace. It is always difficult for a woman to balance both professional and personal life, more particularly in our country. Today's panel will focus on providing strategies and tips to empower women of today to have a more meaningful career engagement. Today is not on, Today it is not only about making women more stronger, because in my view women are always stronger. It's about changing the way the world perceives their strength, I think so. Today we see a lot of success stories of women occupying top positions at corporates, leading and professional organizations, and having cemented their own positions in their respective fields. Again, in my view, women of today are more creative, hardworking, loyal, and deserving. A lot has been said about empowering women, but yet I think we need to travel a long, long distance. A long needs to be done in this particular area. Today we have these superwomen all having inspiring stories behind their successes. And with these words, I would just request Preeti to take us forward the proceedings from here on and introduce the panelist formally. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. And before I introduce the panel, I must confess one thing. While the president has said it's Rita and I who took this forward, I would be failing in my contribution and the whole initiation of the program for women by our mentor Nandita Parekh, who is here. So happy to have you, ma'am. Uh, it is said that when we talk about women, there's a Women's Day celebration which went, and most of us would fight. And one of my favorite quotes has been, "Years to strong women, may we know them, may we be them, and may we raise them." So the idea being at BCS that there are strong women sitting in the audience, strong women sitting here on the panel, and some of us who are raising our children, daughters, to be strong women as well. And so I have the honor of first introducing CA Preeti Savla. She qualified as a chartered accountant in the year 2000 and has since then completed the Entrepreneurs Development Program from ISP Hyderabad and the DISA Information Systems Audit and the certificate course on forensic accounting and fraud prevention, both from the Institute of Chartered Accountants of India. She is a partner in KPB and Associates, and her practice areas over the past 2 decades include strategic planning, business advisory, process setup, risk mitigation, project finance. She has given talks on various topics, including audit, bank audit, insolvency and resolution, auditing standards, etc. She serves as an independent director on boards of various listed companies. In 1920, she was unanimously elected as the chairperson of the Western India Regional Council of the Institute of Chartered Accountants of India, and she has been serving as a regional council member of WIRC since the past 6 years. She is a member on various committees and a life member of and of course the BCAS. Through ICAI, she has regularly interacted with ministries for the benefit of the profession and the public at large. She is also visiting faculty at the Mullen College of Commerce and serves as a guide to MBA students. And for her contribution, she has been awarded and appreciated at various forums, including one run by the parliamentarians. So, welcome, Preeti. The next panelist that I would like to introduce is Madruga Dodea. She's an equity partner at Nayak and Company and is a known name in the media and entertainment industry, having worked with many prominent Indian artists, companies, and brands. Madhu is an expert in the field of intellectual property, and her practice covers copyright, trademarks, and patents. She counsels clients on all areas of entertainment law, advises and negotiates for the production of original content commissioned in India by global video service platforms, licensing and distribution of content, etc. She also provides strategic advice to various e-commerce giants and web-based businesses. Madhu has advised over 500 film production and distribution deals, rendered legal assistance in acquisition of film libraries and format rights, service agreements, licensing agreements, and technology related to intellectual property as well as e-commerce. She has been instrumental in structuring complicated financing cum distribution deals, production and co-production deals for Bollywood production houses as well as the Hollywood studios. She has appeared before the Supreme Court of India, high courts across various states, the NCLT, the Film Certificate Appellate Tribunal, and the Debt Recovery Tribunal. So, welcome, Madhu. Thank you for coming here. The next panelist is Segi Mohan Chavalla. She qualified as a chartered accountant in 1990 and briefly worked with DSP and Tata Finance. In 1992, she joined her family business at BCAS Publishing House to lead its school textbook division, Madhuban Educational Books. From 1992 to 2012, Segi worked towards building Madhuban as a highly respected publisher in the competitive school publishing industry. At the time of its sale in 2012, Madhuban books were part of the curriculum of over 8,000 schools, pan-India and the Middle East, selling over 7 million books each year through a 1,000+ dealer network. During these years, Segi did not stop at that. During these years, she also facilitated many student and teacher training programs in select schools in India and the Middle East. This was also the time Segi studied and led various energy healing and Reiki workshops aimed at personal clearing and development. After successfully selling her business in 2012, Segi took up the study of coaching. She studied various methodologies and completed her master's in integral life coaching from New Ventures West, San Francisco. She is an accredited coach with International Coach Federation. A majority of her coaching experience thus far has been with individuals at the middle management levels, aspiring and transitioning into senior roles. She is a practitioner of Vipassana meditation and a student of Enneagram, an established personality orientation study, blending psychology and spiritual wisdom from ancient traditions. Sajili's purpose and focus is to be an enabler in people's journey of development. She is a faculty at SP Jain as part of the Science of Spirituality department. To deepen her knowledge, Sajili has recently started studying Vedanta with an intention to be a Vedanta teacher in the years to come. She will also be commencing a master's study in transpersonal psychology. Welcome, Sajili. Thank you so much for coming to BCAS. And now to the last and the youngest and the most prettiest panelist, that's Mansi Mehan. Mansi is a psychology graduate from Jai Hind College, Mumbai, and holds a master's degree in sociology. During her fellowship at Teach for India, during the years 2015 to 2017, Mansi realized that her students who came from low-income communities had a missing childhood, lacked basic life skills, and found it very difficult to express themselves in a healthy manner. So she co-founded the Saturday Art Class in 2017 at the tender age of 22 after her fellowship. Saturday Art Class is a non-profit organization that works with children from low-income communities in the city of Mumbai to build life skills and develop social economic skills through a medium that knows no bounds and requires no language or background, that is art. Till date, the class has worked with more than 5,500 students across Mumbai through a network of more than 1,000 volunteers who mainly comprise the youth of our city to enable students of Saturday Art Class to move from just surviving to thriving. She is currently a part of the Gratitude Network Fellowship, an international platform that works on building leadership and accelerating growth in high-impact social entrepreneurs. And then the last, but not the least, Divya Jokhakar, who is the moderator of the panel discussion today. Divya qualified as a chartered accountant in 2012 and is a partner with BD Jokhakar and Company, Mumbai. She's a fellow member of the Institute of Chartered Accountants of India and is an affiliate of the Association of Chartered Certified Accountants of UK. She specializes in income tax, including transfer pricing, foreign remittances, international taxation, and represents her clients before various tax authorities. She has recently co-authored a book, Tax Deducted at Source, Laws and Procedure. Divya is an active member of the Managing Committee, the Taxation Committee, and the International Tax Committee of the Bombay Chartered Accountants Society. She is also a co-convener of the International Tax Finance Study Circle at BCAS, and in the past has been a convener and deputy convener at ICAI's Churchgate CPE Study Circle. Divya enjoys tennis, fitness training, blogging, poetry writing, photography, and volunteers for social causes. So that's our panel here today. Before we start with the panel discussion, we thought that let's have a small icebreaker. So Mansi has very sweetly agreed to do an icebreaker session for us so that she shows the audience one of the things that she does with the students at her Saturday art class. Over to you, Mansi. Before that, can I please request the president to give the mementos to our panelists? I'm sorry about that. Okay. To Preeti Savla. to Sajili Chavalla and to Mansi Mehan as well. And to, yes, to you as well. So, Mansi, can we have the icebreaker session? So, you want to tell them what the rule is?
Okay, good evening. I'm going to quickly, and I've taken permission for this, 30 seconds for everyone to sit next to somebody you don't know. And the rule is you cannot share your name, right? So I can count till 30. If you're not comfortable standing up, somebody else can get up and sit next to you. But 30 seconds, no one, even the front row, nobody, you're not supposed to know the person you're sitting next to. Okay, I will do a countdown. Y'all are fine. Y'all still will get to know each other. They will know each other. You will have to do it with her. Yeah? You have to do it with her. No, 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 everyone does it. 15 seconds to go. Are you ready? Okay, perfect. I'm going to be passing on paper. I want everyone to have one sheet of paper really quickly, as well as a pencil. Again, no asking for names. You can talk, but you can't ask the person's name. जल्दी आप पास कर दीजिए ना जल्दी होगा Excuse me. Take one and pass the rest. It'll be faster. Not cheating. I'm just going to give it to them. So it can do one, two, two, this. Yeah. You look at. Actually, can I have pairs of like a pair? Can we have like partners so it'll be easier? Na, tame shift karo. Please. See there behind you. Two, two. Yeah? Find a partner. It's not that difficult. Or you can turn around behind and find somebody behind you. Got a paper? It's taken all the paper. Yes, yes. Everyone does it. Can we get some pencils with us? Okay. Okay, we don't have time and then we'll have to cut short this activity. So really quickly, and then I'm going to give you 30 seconds. Okay, now pay attention to be now pay attention because you call out your partner if they're cheating. Okay, you have 30 seconds to draw your partner's face. But I didn't say go. I didn't say go. Y'all are like more difficult to manage than my children, second graders. Okay, I didn't say go. Okay. You cannot look down on the paper. You only need to look at your partner's face and draw. Okay? And 30 seconds, and like I said, partners can call the cheaters out. Okay? So it's just look at your partner. Again, last time I'm repeating. Look at your partner, draw without looking down at the paper. It's pure eye contact. Your time starts now. Go. Start. No, see, she's doing it. You have to look at your partner and draw. It is possible. I love how I see some amazing artwork happening. I spot a few cheaters, huh? No looking down. Perfect. Look at your partner and draw. Look at your partner and draw. Huh. You need to look at your partner and draw. You cannot look somewhere else. So you're not drawing your partner then. Look at your partner and draw. Last 10 seconds. No, you're not supposed to see what you're drawing. You're only supposed to look at your partner and draw, not looking down at the paper. We are wrapping up in 10 seconds. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, stop. Now, step number 2. Step number 2. Okay, I don't want to stop the laughing, but step number 2. Now write 3 thoughts you have about this partner that you've had. Now you can look down, huh? I don't want you to now look up. 3 thoughts or 3 things about the partner that you are feeling right now once you did the drawing. Um, Go away, just 3. It's okay, you still don't know their name, and after that you can ask for their name, I promise. But just 3 basic thoughts, comments, messages, anything. Think about the last 30 seconds you just laughed with somebody and had an amazing time. What do you want to talk? What do you want to put down about your partner? Okay, I'm going to give you 15 more seconds to finish writing. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Now let's stop, and I want 2 individuals to share about what they've written about their partner. Okay? Any volunteers? Thank you.
I have mentioned smiling face, energetic, sweet voice.
One second. Anyone else? Yes. Okay. I'll give 4.
She appears to be a young chartered accountant. She's pretty and she appears to be enthusiastic, wants to go up, progress in life.
Wow. So you don't even know her name, but you said all this. Amazing. Anything else? Yeah, someone put their hands up. Yeah.
So I've written he looks well experienced. I'm very intrigued about his interest to be attending an event like this.
Last one. Last.
I don't know why I wrote this, but I think she's a mother of 2. She has an experience of more than 15 years, and I think she's very balanced to what I can see.
Okay. Okay. Here's the thing. Yeah, but we'll just share. Okay, we'll share post that. But here's the thing. As women, mostly women here, just take a step back and have the problems you're facing, the self-doubt you're going through right now. Maybe today is not a good hair day, or you don't really, your outfit doesn't make you look the way you want to look. Maybe your skin's not working out, or you've just had a really bad day at work and somebody said something really horrible to you. But guess what? The stranger sitting next to you has just the nicest things to say. So you don't know their name, you've never met them before, but this is just an exercise around you, thinks you're beautiful and amazing and special. And that's exactly why we've done this exercise, to like tell yourself that, hey, you're amazing, hey, you're beautiful, and whatever you think right now is not very important because the world around you feels you're amazing. So thank you for being you women. And now you can ask your new friend's name and and exchange your paint, your drawing. We'll share after. आप 2 months. Last one. One and pass. और चाहिए? one and pass the rest. Really quickly, so everyone gets a piece of paper. We won't be able to do the activity if we're not fast enough. Come on. No. Unless you have a black color, we can give you something else, but just extra papers lying and just pass it on. Sorry. Okay. So, many of y'all. Okay. Nana. Okay. Many of y'all may have experienced being children, obviously as children, but also now because you may have children around you, and you sort of understand the process of growing up and what they do. But a really like interesting thing is when I joined the fellowship, and I was only 19 and a half, and I realized that I hadn't used crayons in really long. And I was just like, what's happening? I mean, why the joy of just paint, crayons, art, creation. So obviously everyone's extremely creative in their workspaces, but today I'm going to take you back to school and I'm going to teach you a really, really, really simple origami activity. And don't tell me I already know. If you know, great. But guess what? It took me time to learn it, but it's extremely simple. And I was just so scared you were deciding what to do. And I said, I'll do a very simple exercise so everyone feels comfortable. And we're going to be doing something with what we make today. Okay, so really quickly, step by step, let's start. Okay? Now I want you to take 10 seconds to just think of a woman that has or is or is just your source of inspiration, who has always inspired you. When's the last time you have communicated how important this woman is and how big an inspiration this woman that you're thinking of right now is? Think about this individual, this human, and I want you to write a thank you card to her on this heart. And what you're going to do is, once you're done with your thank you card, irrespective of where, when, whatever, it's just you saying a thank you from your heart to this inspiring woman. And once you're done, you're going to go and give it to her and just say thank you. Very often we forget to thank the really, really important people in our lives. And this 5-minute activity has just helped you take out that time to say a thank you. So let's quickly take 30 seconds to write this message down. But don't forget, this only is complete when you hand it over, irrespective of who it is. So the idea of this was to just, again, believe in yourself, know that you're one special and unique individual sitting here today. And irrespective of what you feel is going wrong, people around you just feel everything is going right with you. And at the same time, let's just take some time to thank somebody for being our motivation and inspiration and that rock that keeps us going. And that's when we end our icebreaker session. You've all made a new friend today. And a new friend who thinks you're amazing and thinks you're beautiful and thinks you're so special. And keeping that in mind, I just want to wish everyone a very, very, very you thank you, a very, very powerful woman. And this world would just not be the way. Thank you for being special, amazing, unique women in this setting. Thank you so much and happy Women's Day.
Thank you. Come. So, wow, what an experience was that. A warm good evening after an ice-breaking session with this supersonic AC which is making us cold. So now we are going to have a very hot discussion with the enthralling panel out here. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and my beautiful panel. Today we will be witnessing the experience of this panel, how they've moved throughout their personal and professional lives, how they've excelled at the activities they do in day-to-day routine. So let's have from the audience, like a show of hand, how many of you all are entrepreneurs who work for themselves? How many of you all call them intrapreneurs? Awesome. And any students out here? Okay, so let's say we all are students too in the field of life. Well, so we have a good combination of audience here. Let me just recapitulate what the panelists do so I can take on the question. So the first question is about their challenges, how they have tackled, situations in their life. So Preeti Ben, you have always, jumped into the career very early in life and gone to ICAI, which is such a mammoth organization. At the same time, you've been a faculty at the MBA college and school. You've done some certification and qualification courses which are so enthralling. Madhu, you've been a tremendous lawyer where you've done your work with the banking and the financial sector. Sajili, you have done a life coaching kind of an experience with training, the 11-month training program with the SPJN. Also, you've been a director at the BCAS Publishing House, and I know that this organization, which was printing books for Madhuban also, has done some specialization in the books for engineering too. You always have to even deal with some, social kind of attitude because you kind of coach people into their mind. Of course, Mansi, you have been and everyone's a young panelist, of course, but you are the need you to be where you are. And then we'll move on to the next speakers.
First, thank you, Divya. And first of all, my appreciation to BCAs, all office bearers, Manish Bhai, President, and Mihir Bhai, and Suhas Bhai, and all these dignitaries for organizing such a wonderful program over here. And I really appreciate the efforts by Nandita Ben, Preeti, and Rimple for doing a great coordination. I am really amazed by the hospitality and the way they were coordinating. Really appreciation to all of these people, and because of whom this program has been actually become possible, and all these talented, beautiful ladies, lovely girls, I can say. So, friends, first of all, there are a lot of questions in one question I see here. So first letter is challenge, and the challenge, she has to ask me about the one incident which has changed, and which I can say the challenge in the life, and at an early age at the ICI and all. So I can say about the challenge. What is life over here and what we are doing? So the first challenge I faced at the age of 17 years, like I was not well, and doctors were not able to recognize what has happened, and an year has been passed away. And after an year, when we went to a doctor after visiting couple of doctors, and he said to my parents, when I was also there along with, when I was also present, okay, if I am not operated within say 24 to 48 hours, I will be no more. And the process of the surgery immediately happened, and that was a challenge. And I can say this is my second life. And at that moment, I decided, okay, I have to give back to the society, to the fraternity, uh, and that was a challenge. And because of that, and when Divya is asking me about, at an early age why you are at ICI and you are doing this work, and so I just wonder, and I have the question comes to my mind. We don't know what is our life, so whatever we have to do, we have to start thinking now, okay, what we have to do. And if we start thinking now, we will be able to do, say, after 5 years, what we want to do. We will be achieving after 5 years, 3 years, 5 years. So we have to start doing now what we want to do in later years. We don't know what is our life, basically. First
So
of
tell
all.
me, Preeti Ben, when you were sailing through the phase when you had to be medically treated, who was that one person or the mentor you would call in your life who stood by you and you would always remember that person?
So actually, when another incident, immediately what has happened, I was in 12th standard, and the surgery happened on 25th February. I know the exact date also, and 8th March was the exam date. That 12th standard, everyone knows that it is a board exam, and when it is a board exam, the center is different, and we have to. And if we don't give, if it is a school exam, we can also adjust. But if it is a board exam, we cannot actually adjust anything. And my discharge was 4th March, and I told my father I want to give the exam. I told the doctor, so doctor said okay, she's just telling. And I was having a bed rest for 6 weeks, so I cannot turn around also. So during that time, I told my father, doctor, I want to give the exam. So all the family members told me, no, you cannot give the exam. 1 year is not important. Your health is more important than, 1 year will come back. Exam will come in the next year. But only there were 2 days in hand. And my father and my mama actually went to the board at Sion. They went to the center. They saw that all the arrangement, a separate room is there, bed is there. I went 6 days in ambulance and I gave the exam of 12th standard. So that is
Wow.
what.
So there was family to support you, truly.
So that only my father and my mama. Other than them, there are no one to sick to give the exam. Like
That's wonderful. We'll, yeah, that's right. So, Madhu, if you could throw some light on the challenges you face in the profession as such, it's such a dynamic field that the laws keep changing. We're in a country where every day there's an amendment. So, what are those challenges too? And of course, while you were sailing through the journey, what happened and transpired?
So, when I just passed my 10th and I got an 87% in 10th. This was, I cleared in 99, my graduation, and then 2002 the law. So in 94 when I cleared 10, things were very different. I mean, this was decades ago. So at that point of time, and being a part of a conservative Marwari family, and my dad had already, he is a very far-sighted person, so he had thought through, and he said that, you have to be a very accomplished wife, a housewife, and a very successful housewife. So you have to do home science, which is a very well-planned subject. And when I actually went to put my form in college, the guy looked at my percentage and he said, "Are you sure yahi box mein dalna hai?" Because the next box was science. So he was confused, and at that point of time, 87 was a very good percentage. And I said, "No, no, isi mein dalna hai." So, and then I somehow excelled in the in home science, and then the endeavor was obviously to get married at the age of 19 once you clear. But there was an experience where there was a lady in the next building who was also a Marwari lady, and unfortunately she went through a very bad marriage, and her husband and in-laws were troubling her, and my dad does a lot of social work. So when she came to him for advice, he realized that even my daughter could be in this situation. So I have to ensure that she does some kind of post graduation, so that if at all, God forbid, there is a situation, she's on her own feet. This is what he advised her at that point of time, to do post graduation. And I think that one incident changed for the good for me also, because then he told me to decide what I want to do. Law just happened. Again, when I went from home science to put my form in a law college, they asked me, "Are you sure कि आपको law करना है?"
Yeah.
Because we have all, commerce and MBA grad to do law, and you've done home science and you've come to do law. And I said, why? Home science is a degree course, and if an MBA, if my friend who's done home science can join an MBA college, why can't I do law? So that guy said, "Ma'am, I'm ensuring that you'll be a good lawyer." So that was the
Wonderful.
beginning, and I was a mooter in college. So my principal was very fond of me because I got a lot of trophies for the college, and I was in an evening college, so 6 to 9 was my college timing. And at that point of time, again being from a Marwari family, my dear family members also told my mom that, she'll never get married in a Marwari family. You're making her do law. What are you doing? Do you ever see a woman lawyer? I mean, what are you doing? You're spoiling her life, her career, everything. And she said, "I can't help it. It's between her and her father, and I don't know." And she used to actually sneakingly come to my college, and one day when she came, she found that there were so many women who were doing the course, because every time I would come at about 9:30, I would reach Santa Cruz station and I would see her, and I would be like, "What are you doing here?" And she would make some excuse, "I've come to buy vegetables." I said, "Yeah, at 9:30 you've come to buy vegetables," because she used to be so worried that my daughter's going alone. "Look, I'm making you do law so that you are on your own feet, but don't think that you're going to practice and have a career, don't go with that mindset, because if your family asks you to leave it, be mentally prepared to leave it. That was the commitment I gave him, but I prayed to God that you shape everything for me, and if you're making me do something, make me go ahead. I got a wonderful family. In fact, I used to be called a Cinderella in office, because my dad used to tell me that you have to be home before 9. So 7:30 sharp, come what may, pens down, I used to rush. It was actually a Cinderella situation, and when I got married, my colleagues used to see me sitting in office till 8:30, very merrily leaving at about 8:39, and they used to be like, "We feel like now you are in your peer," as they say. And my husband, when I told him for the first time that I have to travel outside for a matter, and I told no to my senior, because so he was like, "Why?" I said, "How can I travel? I mean, it's unbelievable." He said, "But it's your work, you should." And then I said, what about in-laws? How will they feel? What about your parents? He's like, "1 second." And he called my mother-in-law, and she was jumping around, and she said, "You should just go." So, I mean, I've been very fortunate to be a part of a Marwari family breaking conventional standards, and everybody who were well-wishers at that point of time and who were worried what I would, how I would get married and how things would shape up, they were proud to take advice, and today they are proud about, the whole thing. And now I am proud to see so many Marwari girls coming in the profession. I mean, so many people from the family call me and they say that my daughter wants to do law, and I feel so proud about it. I mean, it's just symbolic when I say Marwari, but I mean to say that every conservative family is now moving forward, and law was particularly, I've had proposals where the guy's side has actually asked me on my face that, "Oh, you're a lawyer, to tum jhagda karti hogi court mein." And I was like, that's how the mindset was. But I think over a period of time, the profession has really grown. I would say that, because even I had the mindset of, those Andheri and Bandra lawyers, that when your cab stops, they'll come running and saying that affidavit, and notary. And then you have a Harish Salve and Dr. Abhishek Manu Singhvi, who made us proud. So I think every profession has a struggler and an established person. So I think that's where the gap is. So I'm proud to see so much of change and so many women coming forward. Of course, the challenges still remain in the sense that you have to do a lot of balancing activity, which I think now is possible with family support. So
That's wonderful. So, Tajili, if you could throw more light on the kind of question she raised, where she's from a Marwari family. So, when you are an adjunct professor at the postgraduate 11-month program, do you have any social or cultural barriers coming in the way, or as a life coach, could that be one of the challenges?
So I think I've crossed that stage, thankfully so. But I was trying to think of the time that, because you speak about challenges, and while, I mean, there are, I think each one of us, or at least I feel that I used to be a magnet for challenges. But, anyway, but some of the things that I could think of were more when I was running my business. So, like you said, I had well, a traditional Punjabi family, and all I want to say is very protected. And then I start running a business, and I'm supposed to be selling. Now, this was way back in 93, 92, 93. I knew nothing about selling, nothing at all. I didn't even know ICSE from CBSE schools, because I studied in Delhi and it was all CBSE. Now, the thing is that at that point in time, there were 5 or 6 national publishers. Now there are 75, but at that point, now, and all of them were run by people my father's age. So they looked at me like some choti si bachchi, which I was in one way. People in my father's office, because it was an older organization, they looked at me like, "Theek hai, dekhte hain, time pass ho raha hai inka," kind of thing. When I tried to go to schools, they had never had a woman publisher come. So whether they were a male principal or a female principal or teachers, they didn't know what to do with this woman publisher. When I dealt with dealers, they had never ever thought or dealt with a woman again. All the sales boys were men. My competitors were men. So it was just nobody knew what to do with this girl, and this girl also didn't know what to do with herself. So it was a challenge in every way. I mean, a school darban watchman would ask me, "आपके पास appointment है?" And you know how you are brought up to follow rules, and I would say, "नहीं, आप बाहर जाइए." And I would see that कल का लड़का वो अंदर भी पहुंच गया, उसका मीटिंग भी हो गया, and I would be standing there with all my education and all my proper upbringing, standing there helplessly and saying, how does he do it? He doesn't even need permission. He pats him and he goes. When it came to dealers, because they didn't know what to do with this woman, they would say, उनको बाहर से ही बोल दो, है नहीं हम अभी इधर. So everywhere I went, because people didn't know what to do with me, either I was kept waiting, or I myself hesitated to speak up because, you know, when you grow up, you don't speak in front of elders, you look down, etc., etc. So it was, I don't know, I just didn't know for many, many years, what am I supposed to do? These books which are in my warehouse should actually be selling. And we are investing so much in trying to make value-added books. If I had to strike a deal with a dealer, one, I was too embarrassed to say that, what are your terms? And the second thing, it happens over a drink. And my father had said, you're a woman, you need to make sure that you carry yourself with a certain dignity. So I'm just trying to tell you that there were so many, no, I think I just didn't know what to do. But then the interesting thing is, and I'm going to focus more on the other part of your question, which is how I handled it. And let me tell you, I didn't know I was handling it. Now when I look back sitting comfortably, I know I handled it. That time I was struggling. I really struggled. But the point is, I think that every time to say, I think the problem I had, which turned out to be a blessing, is I could not handle somebody else making a decision for me. I can make the same decision, but you don't put a gun here and say that's the only. One thing I could not handle when I was in my 20s and 30s was you decide for me. Not happening. So when I saw all those men look at me like, take care, I couldn't, my pride was too hurt, my ambition was too hurt. How can you treat me like this? So for everything, I found a solution. Like, for example, if I had to strike a deal with the dealer, so I would talk to my manager and I would say, three of us, my dealer, you and I, at 10 o'clock after he shuts the shop, we'll go out for dinner, right? I'm going to have a juice, you have a drink. Because the dealer won't have a drink otherwise, right? And we will do the talking, but let's keep it. So all I'm trying to say is there had to be a way around for everything. A way around for everything. But I think, like what I'm listening is, there is a certain ability, not a certain ability, but a certain drive where you don't want to take no for an answer. And then you just move on. You know, you just keep trying.
Find out a way. Right.
You just find a way. Because again, see, I was traveling 200 days in a year. And now so I remember when I would go to Patna, there was just, anyway, I went to any city. I went to a Dhanbad, for example, because schools are everywhere. And in the 90s, they had never seen a woman come. And I had sales boys who are listening, standing like, as if, you know, they're listening to a madam who's telling them what they've done, what they've not done. So I remember there was one hotel where I stayed, chota hotels. And I would push the furniture at the door in the night because I just didn't know if it was safe. So I remember once in this tiny little hotel, so my boys were sitting on either side because the hotel didn't even have a reception, tiny, just a little corridor and then the rooms. And that was the biggest hotel there. So I said, okay, our sales meeting will be right here, like this. And suddenly I looked up and there was a man's face here. And I said, Bhai sahab, kya chahiye? He said, nothing. I said, तो हम माधुरी दीक्षित थोड़ी हैं, आप चलिए, हमारा मीटिंग चल रहा है. That time this 1, 2, 3 song had come, right? The point is they could not handle a woman. So, so many, I don't know. I think it was just that, please don't decide for me. I have no problem failing, but you don't decide. That was really my...
Inspiring.
Yeah.
Quite inspiring. Thank you. Mansi has a mic though. So Mansi, what was the inspiration that made you start the Saturday art class? What was that one little story that inspired you to go on that journey?
So I was in college when I saw someone wear a Teach for India T-shirt, and obviously I asked, "What is that?" And I remember I got a mail, I think on the day of the deadline, and it said last day to apply, go apply. And I read the email and I left for college. I was in the train, and the train had become this reflecting time where you would sit and think. And by the time I reached college, I said, "Okay, I'll apply." And my dad said, go ahead, what's the harm? And my dad just says, go apply for everything. So I was just like, okay, let me try. And my reason to be in the fellowship was I want to bring about civic sense and change. Because I didn't realize every time from Padla station to my house, every day a rickshawala spat. And every day somebody in the train threw something. And I was just wondering, I said, school mein sikhaya kya hai? Because in school it was very, use the dustbin, never spit, blah, blah, blah. We were taught all of that. So my question was, what's happening in India? Like, why isn't the basic stuff in place? And then I was placed in a grade 2 government school in Mumbai. Government meaning free education, children from low income communities, English medium school. But I think the first day I realized that they never even studied a word of English before. And coming from that, academics, super important, need to show growth in the classroom. I just forgot that I was working with 7, 8-year-old children, and they would come to class, and first thing was like, okay, open your books, let's start writing, let's start reading, what's happening with maths, have you done your homework, blah, blah, blah. And one day I think we were having a conversation on problems, right? And I was like, yes, I had a problem today. I don't know, I made up some story for the children that they would understand. And then I said, okay, now you all share your problems. And I think that was my moment, because I thought they'll say like, my mother didn't give me my favorite biscuit, or my friend hit me and is not talking to me, or like isne mere ko chimti mari, like favorite what we've heard. But this was something else. So I had like 7-year-old children tell me, Didi, pata hai, kal raat ko uske baap ne usko itna mara. And Didi, pata hai, idhar itna daru, itna, matlab, Didi cigarette pee raha tha wo. And what, third, fourth standard. दीदी मतलब उधर पर ना कितना लड़कियों को छेड़ते हैं और क्या क्या होता है आपको पता ही नहीं दीदी अगर आपको आना है ना तो आप ना नहीं आ सकते हमारे घर. So I was like, what? Like, and at maybe that point I didn't realize, but I've learned this art of reflection and thinking, and I went back home and I said, I'm asking these kids to do subtraction and addition, and like I'm asking them to I'm questioning them if they've not done their homework, and then they stay back after class. But have I ever asked them if they're okay? Have I ever asked them why didn't you do your homework, and what was the reason why you didn't do it? Did something happen at home? Or did I ever ask them why I saw a certain mark on their face and what led to it? When I started asking them, I realized that the tuition teacher burnt my child with an agarbatti because he didn't finish his homework for tuition. And I said, I don't think the homework is important. I need to make sure my children are okay. And I mean, before that, you have to be socially and emotionally present to be able to open a textbook to start studying. And that was my moment where I decided that, my children need a safe space. Math is structured, English, there's right and wrong, but where are we creating a space for them to express, imagine, and just be children? Let's say the communities outside where they stay cannot be that place. I can make my classroom that space. And also at that point, I realized that in a school, any child, irrespective of SSE, government, CBSE, IB, IGCSE, art is a compulsory subject for all. So why was there no art in my school? Realized that there are only 95 art teachers for more than 1,200 government schools only in the city of Mumbai, while the children have basic art supplies. So the question is a child only supposed to do academics, or they're supposed to be extracurricular in their schooling as well? So how do you amalgamate that? And that's how I ended up meeting my co-founders of Saturday Art Class, because I used to go around everywhere and say, hey, listen, my kids need someone to come and teach art. I can't do it. Can you? And that's how I came across Chavi Khandelwal and Ayush Bansal, who are the co-founders now, and they said, let's do something. So on Saturdays, we would have art class, because we amalgamated 4 art periods in the week to do on Saturdays, because my children would just not land up to school on Saturdays, which is a compulsory schooling day for children in government schools. So we decided, chalo, how do we get them to come to school? We'll have something different on a Saturday. So the name Saturday Art Class comes from something that the students have called it, because every Friday they would now come and ask me, is our art Didi coming, and do we have Saturday Art Class tomorrow? So at the age of 22, when I was like, chalo, we have an idea, I was applying to get a job because I'd completed my fellowship. Chavi was already working. Ayush already had a business. We said, you know what, let's try for a year. Children require safe space. Social emotional learning is a new thing that any adult today, you or me sitting here, requires it. And art, come on, it's part of the schooling system. What do we do? It was an idea. And then we started off by just saying, let's try it for a year. And that's how the organization got built. But today, the organization is for the children, and it's named by the children, and every child knows what they're doing in class because it's Saturday art class. So that's how the name came
So
about
I'd
and
like
the
to
idea.
add one more question to this. So when you're starting up with something so unique, okay, you had Ayush, you had Chavi, but you will need volunteers to kind of work for you, and you're still in that less than 25 years of age, and people see you as that, how she said, little butchie. So how did you tackle that situation that come and work for me and you are working for the society? How
It
did you
was, I
manage that?
resonate so much to what you said because no one took us seriously. It was like, beta, social sector mein abhi job karo, earn some money, get it done. And I said, you know what? Let's learn about the sector first and realize that this sector requires talent. It requires somebody to come in to start doing something different. If today an entrepreneur can create an amazing product, like guess what? Even we've created a product but for another section of the society. So it's still very difficult because they look at me and they're like, what are you doing? You're wasting away your life. Like, go get a job. Someone will, like, you will get. No, this is where it lies. So getting like basic funding till date is just like difficult to convince people, and I say, come and see where it's going. Or for example, like, you want to come, you know what? Talented individuals like you sitting here today are like value assets to us because you go and basically teach the children on a Saturday because most of y'all are not working on a Saturday. So the entire model was built on, hey, we can't go and do it for, let's say, the 3.5 lakh children just in government schools in Mumbai. But guess what? Those many people around us can, who want to do something, who are also like me, maybe got that question like, "Thukre kyun hai?" Or like, "School mein kya pad rahe ho?" Or like, "Why is the illiteracy level of India this high?" Well, you can do something, and that's what we leveraged on. We leveraged on high quality individuals who just became more conscious of the problems around them and wanted to come and do something, and it's accessible on a Saturdays, and even children are getting the most in terms of exposure to different individuals in the sector.
Oh wow, that's so wonderful. All right, so why don't you take the second question too? So we live in an Indian society. Of course, the times have changed now, and it's different from the 2000s and the 90s and much before. That we have to manage the house front and the professional life. How did you, or how do you manage the time? How do you strategize it for yourself? Of course, because the personal space and private space is so important that if you don't man yourself, you'll be lost in the profession and house front. How do you do that, and what is the best strategy you could advise us on?
So I've come from a space where I've always, like, in my head, I've known that women are supposed to work. It's not never been like man can work or like working mother versus working father. No, it is just women work because my mother is a doctor and my dad is a doctor. So like I see both of them in an equal profession, and I see them handling this, going to clinics or spaces in the day, but also like making sure dinner's like warm, ready, delicious, and then obviously dealing with our tantrums ever since we were children. But the idea comes from, it is difficult to manage that now. Very often, because I don't have those responsibilities, I take it like the entire day can be working. You start in the morning, you write an email before you go to sleep. Your last thing what you do is writing an email. So that balance has taken some time, but now I think I've come to, like, that's why the entire reflection, thinking about taking a step back, thinking about how much you've achieved, and then just strategizing, calendaring, making sure that you keep some me time, taking a time out for a workout, making sure you're eating healthy. All those things are really important to just put in because you need some self-love, me time in the process of everything that's going crazy, and prioritizing as well.
Wonderful. Sajili, would you like to go next for that question?
I'll get a little more graphic than that because at that point in time when I was traveling 200 days, I also had part-time buys who have a knack of getting your goat if you want a clean house. And if you're going to be traveling and coming back at 10 in the night and then 6 in the morning, you have to leave again. So, I mean, this seems way back, but what I had devised is everything in my house had a place. Even in the fridge where the dahi is kept had a place. where the sugar, everything in the laundry cupboard, everything had a place, because that means if I opened and there was a gap, that is the only thing which has to be ordered. So in 2 minutes, what I have to order would be done. So I just think that necessity really pushed me to keep thinking of ways that so there was a schedule when, whether I'm traveling or not. If it's a Monday, the washing machine goes on, you change the sheets. Tuesday, everything was written, and I used to carry that. There were no, I was not using the calendar on the mobile phone. I can't even remember if there was a mobile phone then. Whatever, long back.
But there were no apps as well.
Forever. It
Yes.
was just too long ago.
Yeah.
But I had these sheets which had all kinds of lists, from NIC payments to society payments. But I think, other than that, the fact is, and again, with the benefit of hindsight, at that point I was always stressed. But with the benefit of hindsight, I think what happened was that my to-do list, I think probably somehow I realized that it's better to get married to flexibility than to the rigidity of a to-do list, which means if things don't happen, just reschedule for another day or whatever and move on. Don't get stuck. Don't get married to this is the only list and this had to happen at 3 and this at 3. The wrong thing to get married to, because you will stress and then everybody around you stresses. So I think to continuously be making plan Bs is what has stood me in very good stead.
Wow, what a strategy to kind of
Just
be flexible at whatever you plan.
So it's not that it's not that if something doesn't get done I will put it on another date. It's not that I won't. And I also have a column where I cannot in the middle of things figure where I'll put it. So then I will just shift it into a, like you have a suspense account.
Yeah.
Right. So I have a column. I did. So I have a little space, because then it means that I know that whatever I have not been able to schedule is there. So it won't go off, and then I know that in the next 1 or 2 days, when I get a little bit of time, I have to look over there and see where, including my facial, including my fancy nails, everything goes, including whatever it may be, however big or small, it needs to get scheduled, but with a little flexibility.
Awesome. So you are saying that every small task has to be scheduled, but it's better to do a to-do list rather than forgetting it and getting stressed about it. Always.
Yeah. And if it doesn't happen, breathe.
Yes.
Put it in the
Breathing is
suspense
important.
and reschedule it.
Yes.
It is not the end of the world.
Yes. So meditation is one of the to-do, at least for people like who are in the CA profession.
Meditation and to-do, I can take a whole class on it. So I'm going to pass that.
All right. So Madhu, I have a quote before Madhu begins by Benjamin Franklin. He said, "Let our advanced worrying become advanced thinking and planning." So why I'm saying that is because, again, I'm going to the legal part of it, that you are managing the home, you're managing your personal life. At the same time, the profession keeps calling for, like reading the new laws and new amendments, and you have to be up to date, and people, kind of expect you to be higher than what you are. So again, the time strategy, how do you decide on that and how do you manage?
Well, so the first thing I would like to say is that enjoy your work. Because if you enjoy your work, everything will become possible for you. It will make its own way. So I think you should also enjoy stress, which is a part of the work. I mean, would you like to be in an environment where, you're in a government job and you can do everything at your own leisure? I don't think so. I think when we go to work, we also like to do challenging work. And I always tell my juniors that you cannot expect a rosy environment where clients will tell you, "आप एक week के बाद document दे देना हमको चलेगा." Like clients will tell you as of yesterday. Like our profession is almost become like a medical profession, like a casualty department, I would say, because we do a lot of film matters, and we have cases that the film is releasing on Friday, and there is an urgent matter which is filed on Monday, and we have to salvage the film because there's a stake of 150, 200 crores attached to the film, and we have to fly down wherever it is, pan India, or do everything overnight and do it. So I think if you take it as a burden, you'll never be able to do it. You should enjoy the stress. You should think that, oh, it's a new opportunity for me to learn, to do it, enjoy the process. At the same time, Also, don't believe in compromising your family life. It's very important because family is something that is going to be with you from your first breath till your last breath. Work will come and go, but family will always be with you. So the balancing act, and I think this is inborn in us. Even if you see mythology, you will see all gods having multiple hands. You will never see any god having only two hands. So it's inside us. I think we just have to explore that quality. Multitasking is one thing which is inevitable in today's time. So the switch on and switch off has to be like really fast. You cannot have time to think and to switch on and off. So I think if you just practice, and of course it starts with first the me time, like my colleagues have spoken here. You have to take care of yourself, because until and unless you're mentally and physically fit, mentally, because you need to be happy, you need to be ready always to take on the challenge with a smile. And physically, because unless you are physically fit, even a small thing like a toothache or a stomach ache or a throat ache will not let you focus on the work. So you have to eat on time, sleep on time, give yourself, drink lots of water, take care, groom yourself. If you look good, it adds to a different confidence. So I think we need to maintain that balance where we have the me time, the professional time, and the family time. And of course, a little bit, as you said, I think every profession requires updating yourself, because how much ever you update, you will still feel that you've lost on a lot. So updating yourself with your regular news plus the developments in your own field. And we have clients from all sectors. So when you go to impress the client, you need to have substance in every field. You cannot say that, okay, I am doing media and entertainment, so I'll speak only about that. I mean, I do banking, I do real estate, I do all kinds of litigation. So people will like to speak to you only when you have substance. So that is the balancing that you need to do.
Oh, great. So, Preeti Ben, let me just reframe the question about the time thing. When you were the chairperson of WRC and you're also a partner in the firm and you also have to manage the home front, was it too difficult for you to handle, like, did ICI become your home or home become ICI? What happened there?
So I will go little back for this answering this question. So as she said, our family was also very traditional, and my father at the age of 21 told ki she has to get married, and actually I wanted to go for science. I got very good percentage in 10th standard, and I have took only one form. But he told no, you have to do commerce only, and I have then accordingly I became a commerce student, and then he told ki you have to be in college nearby only, in Mulund only. You cannot travel to HR or Podar. You have to do articleship nearby only. And my actually final exam was due in November 99, and before that only my marriage was decided. My in-laws told ki let her give the exam and then to get married. So then the marriage, accordingly, the marriage was fixed in December 99, and in fact, result came after our wedding. So I was go to my husband why she has cleared. So jokes apart, but then what happened? At the age of 21, 22, when you get married, so it is very difficult, to whatever your in-laws are saying, and you have to follow that. And during those time, our family, joint family, and always, lot of friends and socials and all at our home only. So during those time, we were not having full time servant or anything. So when in the evening some function is there, families, guests are coming from outside for dinner or staying. So I used to go during those time, waking up early in the morning at 5 a.m., cooking, half of the cooking for evening also, and then used to go to office and coming back little early, and accordingly at those time I used to manage. And then when what I feel, then my mother-in-law, whenever you are there, it's a joint family system, I have to stay along with my in-laws. So whenever you have to understand them, and whatever their requirement, their needs and their wishes are fulfilled, then automatically our needs are also our needs also get fulfilled, what I believe. And accordingly, whatever, so whenever we go outside, even for wherever, so first thing what I do, I buy something for my mother-in-law and then for me. It's always when your counterpart, when you are staying in the family, when their needs are fulfilled, they are satisfied, then automatically you are also satisfied. And then, I remember in the year 2003, so at 99, I got married in the year 2003. There was a huge, this competition, best SAS Bahu. So she got best SAS and I got best Bahu award also. It took, 3 years to change over the entire thing. But then, timing adjustments, and then my son born. So at the age of 3 months, my son, so my mother-in-law said me, "Ki why you should start going to office, at his age of 3 months." So I started office when he was 3 months old. That support, reciprocal support I got, because what 3 years I have invested, and entire things have changed. And then later on, since 2006, I am in the institute activities. So whatever, so even if when I used now, and all by over a period, you have built all the support system at home, at office. So whenever I used to go outside, so I have to just call my mother-in-law, I'm going this side. So my bag, even she used to keep it ready. If immediately I am going out of town. In institute it happens quite some time. Immediately you have to go. Okay, in the evening you have to go somewhere. And support system at office also is also same way important. So if you are doing starting everything, in CA's office I have seen 80% of the work you can actually delegate. In traditional office I have seen even a phone also is picked up by the for chartered accountant. It is not required. Basic 80% things can be done by your assistants. So if then 20% of the time only you have to devote. If your proper support system at your office or at your home, everything whatever you desire, it is possible. And again, it is a priority, which is very important. And what she has told, passion. If you like that work, anyhow you are going to do that. And if you don't like, you will never do. So similarly, you have to manage everything. You build your support system so that the quality work you will be able to do. And
Around like that and say, what is that one thing you would like to go back in time and change if you were given an opportunity?
I didn't know what I was getting into when I took this up. And it was just like an idea. So very often I tell my mentors, sometimes I'm just like, maybe if I'd gone back, thought of what an organization looked like, not only what's happening in the class with the children, but the other 9 pillars of an organization, that is compliance, finances, hiring, marketing, program, curriculum. I mean, if I had looked at all of that, I would probably not have. It would have been like I would have thought it through, but it wouldn't have come like a spark. But I also get the other version of it to say, like, if you thought it through, you would never be doing it. So that just it's something that I keep going back to, like, what am I doing? But at the same time, recently the CEO of Teach for India told me, she's like, Mansi, I don't think you were supposed to know. You were just supposed to do. So I think that's something that I would have gone back and thought a little more, but now I'm here and I'm very, very happy about it.
That's great. Preeti, then, what would you like to change about time? If you were given an opportunity, what would you change? Anything?
So if I go back, and if I have been told to change, so if sometimes I have said something no to someone, I would have said probably yes.
Ah, that's positive.
So be positive.
Yes, be positive. And Madhu, what about you?
Oh, well, I would say that I think the age to excel is decreasing by every year. So I feel I have achieved a lot at my age, but I feel the youngsters achieve it much earlier. So one thing back in time, if I could do, then maybe I could have achieved a lot more much earlier. Not that I have any regrets even now. I think it's a matter of time. But I would definitely like to give that platform to my kids so that they excel and, have inspiring people like we have on the panel. So I think that's one thing that I would like to do.
Sure. Mr. JD?
I find this question very difficult to answer because I feel if I made a mistake, say when I was 26, but if I become that person, I will go back and make the same mistake. So I find it, but having said that, I will just look at it a little differently. Do I have some regrets? Yes, I do. So what I have done with them is I've said, what is the need that they were fulfilling? Can I do it now? And I wrote down three things because there are three things in my life. One is I wish I had had children. Two is I wish I'd had more fun instead of working so hard, really. And three is I wish I had studied abroad. So I just asked myself, because I'm on the beautiful side of 50, so I asked myself, I said, so what is it about having children which you miss so much? And I just realized it's just this enormous amount of giving and receiving of love. So I said, then what is stopping you from being loving and from receiving love today? So it's a shift in the mind instead of carrying that weight, which is really quite useless to carry. The second thing is about fun, which I still struggle with, because you can make me work 16 hours, but you ask me to enjoy and I have to schedule it. Doesn't happen naturally. I struggle. So, and the third thing is about studying abroad, and every opportunity I get, I've signed up. I've even signed up for a master's, therefore. So, I mean, the point is I just want to look at it, okay, what do I miss in that, and how can I include it in my life today? So it just becomes, that's how it is.
Super. Okay, so Madhu, I'll start with you for the next question. Is that women for time now have raised their voices against, everything which is called as equal. We want to be equal on this, on the politics and the social life everywhere. When we are speaking about the equal pay and the hashtag Me Too movement and Prevention of Sexual Harassment Act, what is that change you would like to see in your field? Like you, either personally, generally, how would you see it different?
So, yes, we have progressed a lot, and like I said, when I started, there were very few women lawyers, and now you still see a lot of people in the profession. But one thing that I feel is still lacking. In our practice, there is an advocate on record, and there is a counsel. So, if I put it, since I do media and entertainment, if I put it very simply, it's like a advocate on record is like a production house, and the counsels are like the actors. So what you see on screen or who actually go to court and argue are the counsels, who are the actors, and the entire production, the entire scripting, the entire briefing and everything, the research is done by us. We face the brunt of the client, face the brunt of the counsel. So we are like a production house, and we do everything, which is not that we cannot argue in court, but it's just that they develop face value like an actor develops. So if you see women, there are very few women counsels. Like if you see the A grade names that would come to you, the top 10 names, it would all be men. And with all A are men. I keep questioning that, why this is, and I haven't got any answer till date. So I think that's where one thing where our profession, because if you go to Delhi, you will see a lot of women counsels arguing matter in court. So I think this is one place where there's a lot of scope in my field, and this is pan India. Not that women are not competent, but probably also there is a little bit of male ego in accepting going and briefing a woman to argue your matter in court, or there is a feeling that there might be a lack of competency, might be there won't be time devotion. Like the same client has a lot of faith in me as a partner. When he comes to me, he says, I want only her to handle my matter. But I don't know if the same client would have had the same faith in me if I had gone and argued the matter in court versus a man, because of the fact that I'm seeing most of the counsels are men. So I would love to see things changing in the next 10 years. I always tell my daughter that I want you to become the next Harish Salve and not my son. So I think that's the change I would like to see.
So are you trying to say that the position matters when people see us as women, that okay, if she's a partner, she could handle it well, but if she's a counsel, possibly not, because she's again going to argue in front of the men?
Yes,
So
so
it's
yes,
something that
that could be. Like I said, I haven't got an answer, but the reality that I'm seeing is this, not that there is lack of competence. Also, probably because women councils I've seen have not been so focused. Like they come in the profession, they themselves like to be like, doing more of drafting and research rather than being aggressive in court
and
and
arguing.
doing it. So, and this is predominantly in the Bombay High Court versus the Delhi High Court, where you would actually see a lot of women counsels. And now we are very happy to have very good women judges, right from the High Court to the Supreme Court. So I think things will change, and we all have to collectively bring about a change. So I think if any one of you has a litigation matter, I don't think that you should think that who's the arguing person, whether it's a male or a female. Just see the competency and decide. So I would love to see that change in the coming years.
That's great. So, Preeti Ben, with this question, I'd like to tweak asking, how do you see these acts and these movements different for the people who are into practice as ICI fraternity and those employees who work for us?
See, as far as in our profession in ICI, in the year 2019, there are about 27.5 percentage women chartered accountants. Uh, from 2,90,000 chartered accountants approximately all over India, and the ratio is increasing because we have more than 40% CA students, and day by day the ratio is increasing as more girl chartered accountants, girl students are entering into the profession. But as regards to what I have observed, as regards to women as a chartered accountant or otherwise also, they are more dedicated, disciplined as compared to other part. But it is always like that. If first they are taken for granted, and unless they prove their efficiency, effectiveness, competency, then only the things turn around. It takes little more time for them to be proven. Again, in our profession, once the CA women is qualified, they are doing the professional activities for some number of years, but after the marriage, after the family, for XYZ reason, they are taking break, and maybe break of 2 years, 3 years, and they want to come back to the profession again. But as all of you are aware, in last 5 years, the technology has changed a lot, and even if they want to come back, they have the internal fear ki whether they will be able to perform or not. So they are not coming back, and they want to do, they have the aspiration in their mind, they want to do, but they are not coming. So around 40 to 50% of women chartered accountants are not doing anything. So they want the hand holding, and our associations like BCAS, and at institute also I have designed a 100 hours course for women CAs, and I have given to ICI some 3 years back. But what we have seen, if this course is of long duration, women are not coming. If we are doing the program during their office hours on Saturday, Sunday, women are not coming. Weekdays also, the response is not good. But on Saturdays, we do the short duration courses. And computer lab, I am not worried about the numbers. Even if the 30 women are coming, and actually we are teaching them how to file GST return, how to file TDS return, and then if they are, there are a lot of practicing firms who also require, proper people, and then they are, taken by them, and then on money is not, everything. So even if they are satisfied, their job satisfaction is there. So these things we are doing from our part, but then actually they have actually, first it is from their inside, they have to come, and then only we can handhold.
And just to extrapolate it further, what do you think that the employer should do so these kind of women can come back to the profession? Because usually the employers would think, oh my God, if she's going to go for this class or a seminar, I'm going to pay her for that portion of the time, and it's going to go for a waste. So that's the usual mentality any employer would have. How do you just like curb that, like that one little thing which is
See,
necessary?
the next level, what you are saying, ki if the employer has to support that, but other way around, I am saying ki these women are sitting at home, they are not doing anything, so they have to come out. And I remember Nandita Bain actually, she has also taken some part-time women. They were not doing anything. And nowadays, what I tell them, ki now everything is like now GST or new acts have come, so IBC or valuation. So you are at par with others because others who are experienced also have to unlearn and relearn, right? So you are all at par, but you have to acquire. Nothing is come directly in your mind. You have to put your efforts, acquire the knowledge, and then only it is first their inside. They have to prioritize the thing. So if they do that, the employer will definitely support, what I feel.
Great. So Mansi, let's see how in today's world the professional is different from, the senior profession different from us as youngsters. I mean, if you see a 50-year-old professional, a lady professional or a male professional, how do you see them different? Do you see them as like peers, mentors, or do you find out some driving force when you see them?
So something that I've learned is you just have to keep learning, and people who are experienced, who've basically gone through what maybe I am going through right now, they're the best educators. So what I view the seniors in, let's say, the sector that I'm in right now are just like they're celebrities. So I would react to, let's say, if somebody would react to like a Deepika Padukone right now, I would react to like a CEO of a really, really well-established organization because of what they've done. It's a very difficult journey to basically go out there and like pitch your idea and make people, like, let's say, our beneficiaries believe in what we do. At the same time, get the support from external individuals to run what the vision that we have for them. So for me, it's more of like they're just people you really want to look up to. Or you just want to understand what was their beginning like, what inspired them, what was their journey, what are the experiences, what mistakes have made, and maybe they can handhold us, and we don't need to repeat the same mistakes. So basically, I view them as mentors and just coaches to help brainstorm, be a sounding board, because at times when you sort of are confused, you're at a roadblock, you don't know where you want to go. They are the people who come to help you out and direct you to what the next steps could look like.
All right. So she's talking about coaching. So I'll come to you. When you see today's youngsters, hurrying up for everything, they want to achieve everything like overnight. How do you suggest them to, rewire themselves? Are they going too fast? Do they need to balance themselves? What is that? Like one thing they need to stop at or focus, or how do you see it?
Tell you that in coaching, if you're a good coach, you don't advise and counsel. Coach, you see, because it's not about me cloning my value system onto you. Then you'll be branded a bad coach. So I have to be very careful in answering your question because, like I told you, I didn't like people deciding for me when I was young. So
Yeah.
I'm not so sure people today would like it. But I not about youngsters. I see as much. I see the same issue with people my age as well. And I think the issue is just this whole drive for likes. I mean, the whole there is a word in Hindi or Urdu called fitrat. Matlab, my whole personality, my whole being depends upon for a lot of us on how I'm seen, right? And and the me gets lost in that, and I think that is such a hurtful space. Uh, so it's not just for the youngsters. I mean, please tell me, all my friends are on the phone as well. Six of us go out for a coffee and we're all on the phone. So we are no different. So I think it's not just them. It's not just them. We all are more and more seeking instant gratification, and we want you like me and you like me, and even if you don't matter to me, you like me and you. I mean, we are breathless. We are breathless, and that's well the way I see it. I just think it's wasted breath.
Yes.
So yeah.
So we need good oxygen too. All right.
Well,
So,
again, and I don't want to define the good.
yes, of
Yeah.
course.
So let each
Yes.
one just review and define their
Yes,
own
that
good.
works better.
Yeah, just
For
just
sure.
review it. I think the request is review it.
Review.
Pause and review.
So, when we're also talking about review, let's go to the next one where what is that something that motivates you all throughout? Was it throughout the journey? Was it the financial consideration, your peers, mentoring your juniors, people you worked with, or possibly some challenges and the recognition you were longing for? And what is that one thing that you can wake up and kill your day
Yeah,
for?
yeah. So I think it's changed over time. When I was young, if somebody said "mere bas ka nahi hai," well, that was it. Like how I cleared my CA, one of my article colleagues said, "You don't call me, huh? You're not studying. I'll also fail." I said, "Who are you to tell me?" And I started studying. So even when I was doing my business, my competitors looked at me like, or my dad's employees looked at me like this, and I was like, "Who are you to tell me that I can't do it? I'll show you." So I was in that "I'll show you, you don't decide." So I was in that proving space which
There was
motivated
a
me.
threat which kind of enabled you.
Well, I had to prove. Exhausting journey, but yes, it's been fruitful. I can sit here having sold my business. So it worked out well. I have the benefit. Today, I think what motivates me singularly uh, is contribution and making that difference. So I think I am very passionate about working on my own self and developing, and in touching another life singularly, and there's just no two ways.
That's so super. Madhu, would you like to answer that question? What is that one thing you wake up for?
It's work satisfaction, I would say. And work, when I say, it is a composite. It's not just the professional work, but it's the entire satisfaction, whether work at home or work in office. So when you sleep at night, you should feel that your day has been beautiful. You've had a lot of satisfaction at your workplace. You've learned something new. Like she said, every day, every moment is a learning day. You've achieved something. You've contributed in some way, and you've had beautiful moments with your family around. You've managed to have time to speak to your parents, your in-laws, your husband, and the lovely little children at home. So I think that's the overall satisfaction that I look for every day.
That's something to learn from. Thank you. Preeti Ben and Mansi, so in the society we live in, when men are asserted leaders, they're called as like boss leaders and they're so cool. And sometimes when women could act bossy, and which we do, we like doing that, women will be told as pushy and arrogant. So how would people those kind of women deal with that situation at work front? How do you tackle those situations?
So sometimes we have to make them understand ki for what we are doing that. It is always for their better future, or means if we are telling them to do a certain thing in some fashion which they want to do, go through some shortcuts, right? So I go in the office, I always tell you have to go through the act, bring some 2 3 options, and then go to the solution, and not directly go to the Google and without facts you do something. So it is, we have to make them understand that it is always for their benefit. They are going to learn out of it. So they may not realize at that point of time, but when actually after qualifying CA, they will understand that is always their better future. And when they, after qualification, they come to office and then take the session for the article students in the office, and then they share their experiences, and then we get the satisfaction कि actually what at that time they may be feeling it was arrogant, but actually it was for their benefit. And if we realize them कि it is always for their benefit, so then they actually value it.
So you need to articulate the why, which is
Yes.
so important.
Yes.
And
And again, earlier the question, if your boss doesn't allow you to go to attend the session, now I feel BCAS is on YouTube channel, what president has said, right? So they can recorded lectures also, they can see. And lot of material nowadays with the technology is available, lot of stuff is available.
use
So,
technology to the fullest.
yes.
Yes. Yes, please.
So when I heard this question, I actually went and googled the term aggressive to sort of understand why it was being used so much, and I came across a really interesting study from Harvard Business School where they were talking about review feedback of employees, and over 200 MNCs they had this study, and the feedback, so they had like this word check, and the feedback that was you're too aggressive and you need to like, so I think the aggressive feedbacks, you need to be less aggressive, that term was 76% for women and the remaining for men. So this whole thing of like what, so what is aggression? So the term that aggression is used for is first wrongly mentioned, because it's like this act of provoking, accusing, arrogance, and a mix of that. And then I went on to really think about how are we, or how am I, like sometimes when I have to lead an organization, what is my tone? Well, my tone is assertive, right? And that's a very different word from aggressive. Assertive is a tone where you're leading a team. You're always co-creating with a team, which is a very important leadership skill, right? You cannot delegate and say, do the work more than what do you think we should do now. That's definitely a huge, like a really important leadership step to take. But I don't think having a vision and wanting to be assertive about achieving it is called aggressive. So very often being a little, assertive and, you should be empathetic as a human being in general, but just being extremely sure of what you feel the vision should be and the process you want, as well as co-creating, is something that's extremely important. And very often in like blind gender tests, if you really think about it, men are sort of the ones who come across as aggressive, but because it's a blind gender test, so there is a sort of, I think, in the tone we talk in is taken as aggression, but I think at the end of the day, we're just assertive human beings.
So before we assert further, let's have a quick one-line message for the audience who are just at the peak of their careers. What is that one thing you would like to tell them in like one line? Of course, if the line can be a paragraph, but a message, a message.
I think don't be afraid to try. There's no right or wrong. You'll figure out in this entire process of what you need to do, but there's so much learning at just being in a space and being open to learn. So I think I would just like sum it up to reflect, take a step back at times and just pat your back and say you're doing a good job, but at the same time just keep learning, because that's what keeps you going in life.
Right. Preeti then?
So I would give my message in two slogans. One is about passion and one is about values. So passion, I can say everything is possible when you are crazy about it, and nothing is possible when you are lazy about it. And about values, we have to live with values in life, in our profession also. So in the words of APJ Abdul Kalam, I would like to say that you have to salute. If you salute your duties, you have no need to salute anyone. But if you pollute your duties, you have to salute everyone.
Madhu?
I have learned one mantra from my senior, which I've always followed all along. Work comes to a worker. So if you are a good worker, work will come to you, success will come to you, and money will follow. So don't go behind work, let work come to you, be a good worker. And as I said, when I say work, it just doesn't mean profession, it means work at home and work outside.
Wonderful.
So I was thinking about, there's something which Preeti, you said in the introduction about us being strong women. And I must say that in the last few years, I have redefined strong. So for me, being strong is as much about being hardworking, being ambitious, being blazing with your passion and all that. But being strong is equally about being vulnerable. I mean, what you spoke about so beautifully was, look, I asked for support. Right? There is no harm. That is, you don't become less strong. They tell us, in all of us have taken a flight. First, put on your oxygen mask. I mean, if you have your children or your dearest one next to you, even then they say first you put on your oxygen mask. So I think I think for us as women who are donning so many hats and we want to be perfect, otherwise we just feel guilty about every little thing, right? It's very very like she said, like she was also saying to reflect and really say what is my oxygen mask, and there's no harm in that because also in our culture we collapse selfishness and self care. It's not the same thing. It's not the same thing. So I think yes, definitely be strong, but again, just don't get stuck to a definition of what is strong.
Right.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. So there is a quote by Melinda Gates, and she says that a woman with a voice is by definition a strong woman, but the search to find that voice can be remarkably difficult. BCS today has actually found the beautiful voices out here, and we're so proud to have heard them. Can we quickly have some 2 or 3 questions from the floor? And you could raise your hands and the mic would come to you. Anyone? For anyone? Yes, please. You'll have to use the mic because we're live. Just a second.
Thank you, BCS and Manish and Priti and Nandita madam and all of you here. It was really wonderful evening spent here, coming from all the way Borivali, though it was live. I just wanted to share one moment which I cherished. All over India, there were CAs, right? And the journey of women CA has been shortlisted, and we have compiled a book, Kshitija Jain from Pimpri Chinchwad, and it was launched on 8th March 2020. It's available for sale, and we will soon go online with Amazon and that all. But I just wanted to thank you, each one of us. Okay, just go through this. This is a journey of successful women CA and what they went through. Maybe it is an inspiration for the new generation. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you for
And
sharing.
one message, the way they said, APCD, instead of ABCD, let's start doing APCD. What you mean by APCD? A, assess exactly what you want. P stands for prioritize. C stands for create the support system. And D stands for delegate. Thank you.
Right. So you're going to come up with ABCD 3 after the 2 movies. Right. All right. So also I'd like to share a small quote by Albert Einstein before we ask Mihir Bhai to give a hearty vote of thanks. He said that women always worry about the things that men forget, where the men always worry about the things women remember. So always remember this. And can we now have Mihir Bhai, please? Thank you so much. Thank you, BCS.
Thank you. May I thank these lovely ladies. We have not only got one Preeti, we have got all pretty ladies here. Thank you for sharing your insight into your wonderful lives. You reflect honesty, you reflect grit, you reflect strength of character. And apart from that, passion and ambition reflect that human side. You have surmounted challenges, you have embraced opportunities, and with such grace that you are here. And when I look at you all, I find that the life has come full circle because it was in our scriptures that there was this beautiful saying which said, Yatra naryastu pujyate, Yatra naryastu pujyate, ramante tatra devata. That means the gods live within are respected. These were our scriptures. And we come with the colonization a full circle where in Europe, if you know about Ibsen's Nora, the doll's house, and how women, in fact, till 1975, women in Britain did not have a right to open a bank account until their husbands have given their consent. This was the thing. Their returns had to be merged with their husbands, and their wealth was considered as a part of cattle. So this was what the Western society has. They have evolved and we've gone back. But listening to those ladies and their wonderful tales, I'm so inspired that probably we have come a circle and we have a great future to look for because they really represent strength of character and they can do multitasking that no one else can. Thank you so much. Preeti, Ben, Sajili, Madhu, Mansi, it was a pleasure having you here. Thank you. Thank you. And our dear Divya, of course. How can I say? We have we have in BCA tradition of giving this instant memoir. So may I request Suhas? May I request Nandita? And may I request Preeti? So, Preeti to Preeti. And may I request Rimple next to give it to our wonderful moderator, Divya.
I want to make a confession here. I think this is one of the most brilliant ideas because I was sitting here and prompting my husband throughout that take a pic, and this is such a great thing. So thank you so
Thank
much
you
for
so
this.
much.